Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, you find a way to lose. Hey, look, man. Charlo and Canelo Alvarez are about to fight this weekend, and there's a lot of conversation taking place. But there's several things that I wanted to talk about. One is we need to understand there's going to be 11 belts, it's going to be a 12-round fight, and one winner. Now, you're probably saying, hey, hold on. What do you mean 11 belts? You got the IBF, WBA, WBO, WBC, and then you got the ring belt. So that's 5. Each of them have 5. How do you get 11? Well, because the WBC has created another belt, like they do and they've been doing since 2013. It's called the Puebla belt. Now, this belt in particular is going to be awarded to the winner, like the WBC has been doing for a while with big fights. Now, this is the catch. I've done my research, and I haven't been able to find where Mauricio Suleiman is saying there's a fee fighters have to pay to receive the belt. Okay? So I want to make sure that I underscore, I cannot find anywhere where Mauricio Suleiman or a representative from the WBC has said there is a fee associated for receiving that belt. That being said, there's some Twitter geniuses around here and social media Einsteins who are saying, oh, they got to give 3% of their fight purse to get that belt. To that, I got to say, in the most respectful way, to the Twitter geniuses and social media Einsteins, to hold your horses and stop taking it to the stupid. No damn 3% of the fighter's purse going towards no damn Puebla belt. Now, what I will say, and what I do believe to be true, is that there's a cost associated with these belts. You cannot make me believe that this is just part of the WBC giving back to boxing by creating these interesting belts. Now, if you look at the attention to detail on these belts, like it's no joke, man. Like this isn't, they don't have like, little Julio there around at the local little mercado putting together these belts. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody who really has fine motor skills, attention to detail, and it has a passion for this. So I definitely think there's some money behind it, and I definitely think that these guys who receive the belts, it comes at a cost. Maybe a hidden cost, but it comes at a cost. Now, that being said, there have been other commemorative belts by the WBC going back to 2013. They had the money belt, the Huchol 1 belt, the Onyx, the Emerald, the 24K gold belt, the Tijucan belt, the Crypto Juneteenth 1, the Mestizo, the Huchol 2, and the Puebla Jalisco, which is this one. Now, this is what we need to really understand here. What happens in this fight? Because this is the concern for both fighters. Damage. Okay? If Canelo has really slowed down, which a lot of people believe, and surprisingly, a lot of experts, not me, most of you guys probably just, I'm just a guy who has conversations. I wouldn't consider myself an expert. But I would say these guys who pay big money, these boxing analysts who study the history of boxing, right? I think it's fair to call them experts. There are quite a few of them who are picking Charlo to win, and not just win, but to beat down Canelo Alvarez. Now, to that, I got to say, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Since when have we seen Canelo Alvarez get beat down? But at the same time, there's been a focus, as of late, about Canelo Alvarez's activity, about Canelo Alvarez, how long he's been fighting, about the wear and tear on Canelo Alvarez, and in particular about Canelo Alvarez showing signs of fatigue during training, during hitting mitts. And Canelo Alvarez and the surgeries that he's had, not only on his hands, I'm going to be honest with you, I did not know Canelo Alvarez had surgery on his legs as well. Okay? Not that I framed it that way, right? Surgery on his hands, surgery on his legs. Getting tired during training, getting tired during mid-workout sessions. Wear and tear on his body, extremely hard sparring. Sparring partners coming out and going on record talking about how easy it was for them to get in there and hit Canelo when they wanted to, because Canelo was just trying to wind up with one big shot. He's no longer throwing the combinations like he was. When you hear that, to me, I listen to it, but I listen with a grain of salt, okay? Because when guys come out and talk about, especially for someone to say how they had their way with Canelo and sparring. Okay, if you did, what was this? Are you the fourth guy who's come in after 10 rounds and you fresh and beating the hell out of them, which is what they want? I mean, come on now. Frame that conversation correctly. Don't just come out here now and try to publicly lynch Canelo Alvarez and to try to get everyone to buy in that he's washed, he's no longer the same. And Jamel's just going to go in there and tranquilize him. But that being said, if Jamel does get in there and he does damage Canelo, what's next for Canelo? And this is my thing. What fighter will get credit for fighting Canelo and getting a win if Charlo beats him? Because you know how they're going to spin it. Oh, the smaller Charlo comes up. This is going to be a David and Goliath, and he beats the big, strong Canelo Alvarez. You know they're going to make it seem like Charlo walking around at 115 pounds. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're going to make it seem like. He coming there with a slingshot, man, and boom, takes out Goliath, which is not the case. You can look and see, man, Charlo, he's a big boy. But the same can be said for Charlo. What happens if he gets in there with Canelo, and Canelo just happens to hit him with some shots that destroy him? Then Charlo takes his time off. He sits back with, his millions that he makes off this fight. Then he decides he wants to come back down to 154. He gets in there with Tim Tszyu, and Tim Tszyu tranquilizes him. Or if somehow they make the fight with Crawford, and Crawford tranquilizes him. Will Crawford get the credit? Will Tim Tszyu get the credit? Will anyone get the credit? Because let me tell you something. These are lingering effects that show up, that continue to show up in fights 6 months down the line, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. We've seen it happen in fighting, man. Guys who get in the ring, tough guys, good fighters, but all of a sudden you notice that the punch resistance isn't the same. And you're saying to yourself, what happened to him? And I think that could be something that we see with Canelo and Charlo, depending on how the fight goes and who gets damaged. So at the end of the day, we got to understand these guys have been fighting for years, man, years. They're really at the end of their careers. So it's all about making the most money possible. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you, I don't think if Charlo loses or Canelo loses, that makes them any less of a champion. Let me tell you, not everybody can win the damn Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It just can't happen. So the plus for Charlo is if he beats Canelo, now he becomes a 2-division undisputed champion. And my question is, if Jamel beats Canelo and becomes a 2-division undisputed champion, is Jamel now the pound for pound best boxer in the world? Does that override Terrence Crawford's accomplishments? Now, Canelo Alvarez, if he beats Charlo, he doesn't get any belts at 154. He just says, hey, I beat a good quality opponent. But Canelo's not going to get any credit for that win because you know how people are going to spin it. It's David versus Goliath. Like I said, they're going to make it seem like Charlo is a goddamn bluegill and Canelo Alvarez is a goddamn killer whale. He's a mako shark. That's how they're going to spin it. The bluegill against the mako shark. The goddamn hammerhead. You know what I mean? With that being said, let's see how it goes. I'm interested. I'm very curious to see how the fact that Jamel and Jamal Charlo aren't talking, to see if that affects Jamel. Those guys are twins, man. I have 3 brothers, and there's a certain energy that can be affected in a positive way and in a negative way when things aren't going so well in that sibling relationship. And twin energy is totally different. I had several friends that were twins, and I'm telling you that damn twin energy is something else. So that's something else I'm going to be paying attention to. But at the end of the day, it's going to be 11 belts, 12 rounds, 1 winner, and we just have to wait and see. But the person who wins at the end of the day is the WBC, because they're guaranteed to get themselves some money. They're guaranteed to go on to the next big Super Bowl of boxing and make some money there and just continue to do what they've been doing for a long time. But what I will say to their credit is at least they're making an effort. Although they want to get paid for it, At least they're making an effort to make the fight interesting. And these belts, I think they're pretty cool. I don't know about that Juneteenth belt. Two big fists on there. I wasn't really feeling that. I thought that was quite offensive. But, hey, they had good intentions, right? And that's what it's all about. That being said, let's see what's up with the power. Canelo has power, single shots. Charlo has power and single shots, but he throws more combinations. So we're going to see when those shots land, how these fellas handle it, and if they're affected by it, if they're able to recover. And that is my concern. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I am in the breeze.